Alright guys, welcome back to the Film Room, episode 11. This is probably the most episodes I've done for a podcast in my entire life, honestly, and it's remarkable to me. I'm here with Abner, and first of all, Abner, what's up? Thanks for joining today.
How you doing, Jeremy? It's nice to be here.
And today we have three simple topics. We have the first one being our thoughts on Sinners, which has been probably one of the most highest grossing horror films I've ever heard of. We got also our top five individual films for May, and trust me, this month is crazy for movies. And then we're gonna do a little, not battle, but we're going to have a nice little disagreement discussion on which movie from Marvel this year will make more money between Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four. You ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, so go ahead first. What are your thoughts on possibly the greatest film I've heard of the year so far?
It's not an understatement, like you said, to say it's probably the best film of the year so far. Sinners just nails every single thing that you could want from an original horror story. Um, and I think it succeeds the most in the way that the cast and all the characters fit so well into the story around it that you almost feel like when you're watching it, you feel like you're there. Like you feel like this is really happening, even though it's all false. It's a fake reality. But yeah, what about you, bro?
Listen, I mean, this movie is only one of two movies that I've seen mostly because of the hype around it, not because of the cast in the movies. I've heard so many amazing things about Sinners. I've heard so many amazing things about Alien Romulus from last year. The hype for those movies is what got me to see it in IMAX, despite them being horror films, which I hate to see because of jump scares. But this being produced or directed by Ryan Coogler, the same man who also directed, the Creeds, the Black Panthers, that the train movie. I can't think of the name right away very easily, but you guys know what I mean. This director, Ryan Coogler, he's him and Christopher Nolan. They are one of the greatest directors that I've heard of to make films that are made for IMAX.
Mm.
The way he filmed this movie, the way that the ratio moved during the scenes, so you know when they're in action, when there's gonna be time for some serious dialogue. There's transitions that tell you what's gonna happen, and based on that ratio of the screen, especially in IMAX, it gives you a whole other uh, mood going into the scene, and it just tells you when it's time to get at the edge of your seat because this film is one of the greatest films that's I think taken place in the 30s. I think.
It's in the 30s, yes.
Well, yeah, and it feels like two different stories because one story you have the twins setting up a party at a juke joint, and if there was no vampires, I would have been fine with the story alone. A party going on, but the fact that they added vampires was the cherry on top to me. Adding the vampires was a nice little beautiful supernatural touch and what made this movie as big as it is, I think.
Yeah. Um, I think the movie succeeds well in two things the most. One is the way that it has some historical accuracy. This was in a time very difficult for that part of America to kind of mix in with each other. Um, and I think it carries out very well the divisions, the very strong divisions that there was during that time between
Hmm.
different races that lived there.
Hmm.
And the second thing, mostly the main thing that I think it has is the music. Obviously, it's a story about music and the power of music and the impact that music can have. And I think it's almost like perfect that it's like the movie is about the impact of music, and the music inside it impacts you so much that it makes this movie what it is. I think I wrote that I got literal chills while watching the music scene where all of the past and all the future musicians kind of blend into one from all the different cultures. And
I
then
think that's this part actually.
that was my favorite when they all like I got chills. I was like, wow, like I mean, you realize how important music is throughout all the generations of humanity, and that it's truly a human thing. It's innate in all of us, and it's indicative also of the power that music has to control minds, as well as the power that it has to free people from control
Hmm.
that people have over them. So I
Yeah,
very
yeah. I have to admit, if I after watching this trailer multiple times for obvious reasons, if you showed me a picture only from the trailer, in that picture being this right here of Harry Steinfeld as a vampire, that
mm,
would have sold me instantly. She
yeah,
was so amazing in this movie, and to hear that she has some ancestry of Black American made like hearing her talk in this movie. I was trying to figure out where did that accent come from. I'm like, how is she nailing every line perfectly? And then hearing that part of her ancestry is part from Black American, it makes so much sense that I did not expect her to fit so well in this movie as she did. And I actually have here on my phone some amazing fun facts about this movie that I think I should say right now. One, it was the highest grossing debut for an original film since Jordan Peele's Us back in 2019. It was one of the highest rated vampire films ever on Rotten Tomatoes at 98%. 98.
yeah.
It received an A cinema score grade, which is the first horror film to achieve this in 35 years. That's actually crazy.
Wow.
And two more. It helped Warner Brothers have two films gross over $40 million in the same weekend, a feat that has not been seen since 2009. I assume the other one was probably Minecraft.
Yeah.
Yeah, and last one, Sinners has grossed $13 million on Friday alone, positioning it just behind 2017's It for 2017's It for the best. I'm sorry, this whole thing is making my brain boggle. Just behind 2017's It for the best second weekend performance. I guess they just typed it wrong differently. In the R-rated horror category, found numbers are TBD. So basically, all in all, this movie is breaking records as an original horror film, and I'm definitely expecting a sequel, maybe a trilogy for this movie. I'm hoping because
Yeah.
it, this movie, there's no way that when a movie like this is doing this well to do a one and done. There's no way.
Well, you have to remember. I don't know if you stayed long enough for
The
the
two post
post
credit scenes.
credit. Yeah. Yeah. It's there's a sequel in the works. I mean, they might have started it, but they will definitely be a sequel. I think because of the way that they left it. I mean, they left the fact that the two main characters are still alive.
Hmm.
I mean, it can't get any more sequel
Right.
than that. As you said, Haley Steinfeld
Hmm.
kills it, like completely murders that role. And I think one of the things that I
Quite literally.
yes, and I think one of the things that I loved the most was Michael B. Jordan's ability to create two distinct, complete characters, even though
Hmm.
he has to play them both. But you could tell which one is on at all times.
Hmm.
You could tell which character of his is the one on screen the whole time, even though it's the same. And pause it right there. I don't know if you noticed this. Um, the director made, and obviously the cinematography and everybody that was involved made a very clear, distinct decision to place one of the twins with red color at all times. I don't know if you noticed that, and the other
And blue.
with blue the whole time. It's a subconscious thing so that you know who's who the whole time, even when you're not like, even when like they're fighting or something. One of them is always wearing blue, one of them is always wearing red, and that's the perfect shot right there because you can
I
see it.
mean, as you keep going but in the preview, they're not always wearing
And not,
red.
yes, obviously there's going to be some parts where they're not, but towards the beginning I think it's very important to highlight that. Look, you see red.
Yeah, but that's in suits though. When they're in the party or
Yes,
fighting vampires, they're not wearing any color like that right
he's
here.
wearing red right there. He's wearing white and red.
I guess I see the red, but
And look, it's a
the
thing.
yeah
It's on. It's a choice that was
mhm.
done on purpose, so you could identify who is who, which is awesome. Like it's a key detail.
That's a yeah. That's I didn't even realize until now. But if you go right here, that's not red or blue. It's just brown.
Well,
His
I don't know if
vest.
I don't know if I'm seeing the right thing. It's kind of frozen. Yeah. So he always wears. I don't. I forgot their names, but he always wears something bluish
Like
slash brown. But
like
the other guy
like
always
stack or
wears
smoke.
yes. But the other guy always wears red or has something. And also by the time
Hmm.
this was established early on in the movie, by the time that we get to this scene that you're seeing right here, we already know who the characters are. So we're not gonna mistake them. But
Hmm.
it's very very important at the beginning to highlight that, and that's why they did it. Towards the end,
I
they
have to.
lose because it's only one.
Hmm. I have to say, did you get jump scared at any point in the movie, or did you expect like anticipate when they were coming?
It wasn't that I expected when they were coming. I just didn't think that the jump scares were like. I don't think it's a movie made for jump scares. I didn't
Right,
like.
but
No, I wasn't gonna be scared because there was nothing to be scared of in a way.
I mean, to me, the term jump scare is when you're like actually like in the zone, when you're actually focusing on the scene, and then all of a sudden something random happens with loud sound.
Yeah.
That's what gets me easily.
Um. Funnily enough, yesterday at home I watched Insidious for the first time,
You're crazy.
which is a horror movie, and I promise
Yeah.
you, I had I laughed the whole movie. I did not get one jump scare at all. That movie, I mean, apparently it's one of the big no, it's rated as like a good horror movie. That movie was to me, it was more of a comedy than horror. So I'm not
Jesus.
I don't jump that much at jump scares, but with Insidious, the music was so good. Like they had violins that would play at certain times, and you'd be like, wow, that's really impressive. Um,
So if you watch Insidious, your next film, The Exorcist,
I already watched. Well, I watched The Exorcist 3, the newest one that came out, I think.
I mean,
And bro,
watching any of them is crazy.
that movie left me with some trauma. That that when I left the theater, I watched it in IMAX, and also I was at a pretty close seat. Like I wasn't like far away. So when you're closer, your brain kind of looks at it and it's like, oh my god, this is actually happening to me. Like you don't know that
Oh my god.
it was insane. I left, I was like, whoa, like just in shock. And Terrifier, that was just disgusting. Like too much, man.
Well, well, let me just tell you, because of the trailers, I thankfully knew when to anticipate the jump scares. So I
Mhm.
knew when to close my ears because I hate those loud random sounds that come out of nowhere. But there was one moment where, obviously this is a spoiler warning, but this movie's been out for like 2 3 weeks already. But there was a moment where after I think Smoke or wait, what's the twins' name? Smoke or what?
They both start with S. So
Well, the one who wore blue, I believe blue or red. I don't know. They're
the good,
definitely twins.
the strong one, or the more funny one.
Yeah, more funny one. Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
So basically the one who was effing Harry Steinfeld in the room.
right.
So that one right after he turned during the part in the trailer where it shows his head hitting the door trying to leave the room. He was locked up because he was a vampire. He turned. But right as he knocked down the door to knock down the cousin, that part honestly got me, even though I knew that was going to come. So just because it was IMAX, the loud sound, there definitely were jump scared moments, but again, the hype for this movie is what got me in theaters, especially for an advanced screening. The hype got me, and I knew that if I didn't see this movie, the movie that I wanted to see on opening weekend or sooner, I knew I would get spoiled on Twitter, so I had to see this as soon as possible. Same for any film from Marvel, any film from DC, or any film that I want to see. Twitter is the worst place to be if you're trying to avoid spoilers. So these advanced screenings helped me to avoid them before it comes out on theaters, for real. So the hype for this got me in my seat for the advanced screening on IMAX. Watching the ratio change, I thought that it was some kind of like mistake on the editing team, but Ryan Coogler meant to do that during the movie, which is a pretty cool new thing that I didn't realize before. And so and he also stated that this movie was based on, like you said, I think his personal life. His grandfather back, I think his hometown, Mississippi, something like that. The
Mm.
blues band, and this scene right here that's been paused for a while in the trailer. Do you think he based? Do you think Courage the Cowardly Dog was also a little bit of inspiration for his house in the middle of nowhere? It's a little funny thought. The Cartoon Network show.
I think that house. I don't know if you've ever traveled up north. It it's well up north, like even Florida or even Tennessee, Georgia. Um, that kind of house is actually pretty common up there, where you see like a lot of fields and then
Hmm.
you see like a one house by itself. So if you're saying that yes, he did grow up in that environment, then he definitely took some of that with him.
Hmm.
Plus, this kind of house, isolated, and remember the people that are inside this house that it's representing.
Right.
Um, it makes it more creepy in a way. It's like they're really isolated. Like if something happens to, which is what ends up happening, the vampires get inside the house.
Hmm.
It makes it more creepy because these people are helpless. Who's gonna come to save them?
That's true. And I get jump scared so easily that once this scene began with the vampire guy jumping in the frame, I'm
Mm,
not sure why that jump scared me. I'm not sure why. I guess the scene before this got me so into the movie that I was cut off guard, and seeing a
yeah,
human jump on frame on a big screen IMAX for some reason got me. I don't know why. But this movie had a surprisingly, I thought I was gonna get jump scared more, but again, I have to remember that it was mostly an action horror film. Basically, like if you watched on CW, it's been on there for 15 years. Supernatural with the famous Samuel D. Winchesters. This movie is basically like one big episode of Supernatural. They throw a party, they kill vampires, the way they perish. It's literally like watching another spin-off of Supernatural, that show.
I would call this a historical fiction horror
There you go.
because it's horror technically, but it's also like
It's hard, but it's
history.
more action, which is
Yeah,
very good.
yeah, historical fiction action horror because it's based on
Hmm.
history. When it comes to the vampire guy, I actually saw this week. Jack O'Connell is his name. That guy right there.
Hmm.
Um, and one of the movies that I'm most excited about that comes out this year is 28 years later, just based on the trailer.
Right. Hmm.
Um, and he's in it. I didn't know that he was in it. He's in it, and
Really? Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah, he's hinted that he's actually playing an antagonistic role, so he's gonna be a villain. Uh,
Again.
so I'm looking forward to seeing that because after his performance here, I mean, gosh, he was creepy. So
Hmm.
he was good. He was good at his job here.
Dude,
I'm looking forward to seeing that movie,
this.
especially that
Hmm.
Killian Murphy's in it as well. So
Cillian or Killian Cillian. I never remember if it's
it's
Killian or
it's,
Cillian.
it's Killian, yeah, it's Killian.
It's Killian.
Yeah,
Let me tell you, this scene right here, it's paused of him talking to, I believe it was his wife. Just, this is one of the most powerful scenes in the movie as far as dialogue goes. I'm
hmm
not sure why. I'm not sure why, if it was setting wise or the color of the scene. I'm not sure why I was expecting a jump scare so easily. Because in a horror film, I'm expecting jump scares almost in every scene. But this one was full on straight, powerful dialogue,
hmm
and this scene alone is why I think most likely have secured Michael B. Jordan for Best Actor role in the Oscars next year because he was that amazing in the scene, that amazing in the movie, and Ryan Coogler most likely gave this movie a Best Picture nomination right away.
yeah. He will definitely be a nominee at least. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and the fact that we have to think like he's acting for two characters, man.
Exactly.
That is not easy to do. In
Exactly.
a major big budget big like movie film, it's not easy. And especially what I said is he's creating two different characters. And
Mm-hmm.
it's not easy to do. To go from one, like in your head you're this funny guy or whatever, and the other guy's tough. You
Right.
you're basically filming two movies. Everybody
Exactly.
only filming one movie, you're filming two. So
And
it's pretty hard.
And that's technology that Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan even talked about just to generate a twin sounds incredibly difficult. And the fact that, you know, I was just left speechless after hearing how they were able to get the twins done, the process, and how difficult it was also for the supporting cast to work around them because he was playing two people, so they had to figure out, how to talk to this one, how to talk to that one, and they had to just the fact that they used that kind of technology and this kind of idea actually came to life. I was I was saying to Ryan Coogler in my head watching the end credit scene and the post credit scenes, thank you for this movie and thank you for bringing cinema back, basically.
Yeah, I think he took a big step in doing everything he did here. I mean, when you
Hmm.
create an original film, you don't know how the audience is gonna take it. You don't know if people are gonna
That's
like it.
right.
Or it's gonna be the biggest flop of the whole year.
This
Especially
scene,
working
yeah,
with
this
Warner.
scene right here gave me this other jump scare.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Back when his brother, twin brother, his head in the door.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna just stab him, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I mean, there was a moment where the knife went through the door. That
Yeah,
part jump scared me.
God, but I thought he was just gonna take his eye out right there.
Ah,
Just taking his eye out, like just stab the knife through his eye. Like for some reason, I was like, "Oh my god, why is he doing that?" But yeah, like when you're creating a film for Warner Bros, like for Warner Studios, like
mm-hmm.
you know that you got to do it right, or it's gonna cause news. So
No, that's right.
he took a big risk, and I'm really glad it worked. It is a very creative film. So
This scene was probably the best scene in the movie. How it
that's
goes from the
yeah,
era to decade or to century, how it goes to multiple different cultures
yeah.
in a one shot too, and the
Hmm.
music on top of that,
Yeah.
bro.
But you see,
Holy
this is why I don't
cow!
see trailers. I'm noticing now that it literally spoils the whole movie, man.
Nah, Kugler cooked, and I don't know. Just give me your last thoughts on the movie because
I
this
think
movie,
it's
I
very
think
creative. That's the word that I'll put for it. Very creative, very original. It does take reference from a lot of previous films, which is basically every film. But I think it has a great spin on some creativity and acting wise. It was splendid. So
and I have to say, Sinners, if you guys haven't seen it, you guys better watch it in IMAX before it comes on streaming because you will not get this experience that we've got in theaters on streaming. You will not. Forget increasing the volume on your laptop. Forget increasing the volume. Forget making the room dark. You don't have the same sound design that theaters give you. You don't have the same visuals that the theaters give you. And this movie was filmed using IMAX cameras. It was filmed using ideas from Christopher Nolan. Okay, that tells you right there that if you don't see an IMAX, you basically lost a chance to see a generational film. Forget costing money for a ticket. This movie is worth your $20 ticket. It's worth it. And if you are someone who loves horror films and action films and have seen the specific show called Supernatural or anything like, if you love vampires, if you love action movies, this movie is literally made for you. And especially if you love Marvel actors like Harry Steinfeld, Michael B. Jordan, Ryan Coogler, the director from Marvel, also. This movie has just the best collaboration and the best actors I've I currently know. So I hope our thoughts on the movie have convinced you way enough to see this movie as soon as tomorrow. Or maybe you've seen it, who knows? But this movie, I'm thankful we got in the first place. All right, Abner. Next topic. It's almost time for May, and like as I've said, May is probably one of the biggest month of movies this year. So if you have your top 5 movies of the month, go ahead and let's begin with you.
okay, so I would start as the one that I'm looking forward to the most. I don't know if the
Five,
whole
5 to 1.
okay, so the opposite. Okay.
Yeah,
All right, let me look up the list that I looked up. Let me see.
because I have three.
I,
And
I already know which is my number one. And I think you know as well which is going to be my number one.
I
But
guess we'll find out soon.
okay, so five. It's hard to pick the worst, technically.
Well, not really. Okay, okay.
All right, look, I'll say them first, and then I'll put them in order after. Yeah, because if not, I'm never gonna say them. Mission Impossible. I know it's coming out at late May. I'm looking forward to that one because of the previous one. I saw it on IMAX, and I think it's one of the coolest experiences ever. I think the visuals, the sound, you just feel like you're actually running through a motorcycle in whatever city they're in this time. So I believe the movie's called Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning.
Part two.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that one. Thunderbolts is releasing in a few days. I'm looking forward to that one as well. I've been looking forward to it basically since I saw the advertisements for it. Because I know that one, it's a new Marvel original movie, so they're not basing it off, like for example, Captain America is based off a previous Marvel film, so we're kind of like already putting expectations for it. But this is probably, when was the last time you saw an original Marvel film? Don't remember what movie it was. That wasn't like a previous IP.
Right.
So
I don't. It's a good point.
yeah. So Thunderbolts is definitely one. Um, because like if like what I'm saying when it comes to originality, like for example, Fantastic Four, that's based on a previous IP, so it's
Mm-hmm.
really
Mm-hmm.
original. Yes, it's original.
Right.
But, I would say number three. Gosh, it's so hard. Um, okay, I'll list. This is probably gonna be my. It's gonna end up number one because it's the one that I'm been looking forward to the most. Um, but it is gonna be Hurry Up Tomorrow by The Weeknd and Jenna Ortega. I have
Hmm.
not seen a trailer for it at all.
Do you
Anything?
ever do you ever see him at all?
No. Well, it depends. If the movie doesn't matter as much, then I will see the like or like for example, 28 years later, I saw that trailer by chance, by randomness. I was just on my computer and I saw the trailer and I was like, whoa, this looks awesome. But it's also a good trailer because it doesn't reveal anything about the movie, like the plot.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yes, Hurry Up Tomorrow is definitely one of them. And then Lilo and Stitch is also releasing in May. So looking forward to that. Um, and dude, that final one, I can I pick four?
You can pick
Because
five.
I don't even know a lot of these, bro. Um,
Because I'm surprised you don't. I have three on my list that you don't even have at all.
I'm looking forward to hearing them because I mean I'm scrolling through some of these and I mean a lot of them are not even Hurry Up Tomorrow's here.
Do you? I use the website called the Movie Insider to get my
That's
list. Movie.
that's the one that I'm on and I'm scrolling through. But I know there has to be at least one. I know Karate Kid is coming out, but I don't really watch. I
Mm,
haven't really seen the Karate Kid movies.
really?
No, yeah, the only Karate Kid that I've seen is the one with Jaden Smith. Yeah,
Wow. Okay. Okay. So the first one you've not seen.
no, and I know
But
I know Ralph Macchio, I think is his name. He's one of my favorite actors. But I know I haven't seen the Karate Kid ever. But yeah, I'll put that as number five. So
oh,
in order, that's number five.
hmm.
Number four, Mission Impossible. Number three, Thunderbolts. Number two, Lilo and Stitch, and number one, Hurry Up Tomorrow. Just because
I
I'm a week.
hope I hope the people in the comments rant you like crazy right now
Yeah,
or roast you, whatever.
I'm
My
I'm a
list
week,
is
I'm a Weekend fan, bro. I'm a the Weekend fan. So obviously, I'm looking forward to his first feature film. And I saw in an interview yesterday that he made the film before he made the music.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. I thought it would be the opposite, but hey,
Okay.
what
Okay.
about
That's
you?
my turn to stomp you now. All right. So I have three honorable mentions. So three that's not on my list, but that I'm really looking forward to watching.
Mm-hmm.
And I doubt you've heard. I don't think you've even heard these movies. One comes out on Prime. One comes out on Apple TV Plus.
Hmm.
So one's called Shadow Force on Prime. That's starring Kerry Washington and the actor from the first Jurassic World with Chris Pratt, the African American one. I forgot his name, but no, it's Kerry Washington and Omar Sy. It's a flat out action movie. I don't really know the story yet, based on even on the trailers, but it's just a full on comedy action flick with those two. Comes out definitely in May, but I forget the date even. I think it's May 14th. I think. The next I want to mention, I have three. I have Fountain of Youth. A new trailer came out 2 days ago. That's Apple TV Plus with Jack Krasinski, um, Isa Gonzalez, Stanley Tucci from Transformers. Fountain of Youth. It literally looks like the spin-off or a different version of National Treasure with Nick Cage, but more funnier a little bit and definitely more adventure. And my third and last honorable mention is, like you mentioned before, Hurry Up Tomorrow. That's my honorable mention. That's not my list, but I'm looking forward to seeing that for sure because I love The Weeknd and I love his music and I love the actors in that movie. Him, Ortega, and Barry Keegan. And as long as his music is in the movie, I'll be happy. And I love his music. All right. I'm not gonna do what you did by naming movies first, then listing them. I'm gonna go straight up right away, listing the movies and then why. At five, I had the live action Lilo and Stitch at five.
Okay.
One of the most iconic movies for Disney ever. I love the cartoon version and the fact that that none of the trailers have shown all the actors or characters in the movie. We've only seen the same teaser, just twisted around, and we've not even seen the big boss yet. Even we've not even seen what the other animated characters even look like yet. And the movie
Which is
comes out
what it
already.
should be. That's how a trailer should be.
Exactly, and this is coming out already next month. We've only gotten clips and teasers of the same people, just different order.
Right.
So I freaking love Stitch. I love the CGI looks incredible. His voice sounds incredible. I know it's the original one for this one. I'm pretty sure. I'm just I'm just iffy on um what's the surfer dude? The surfer dude's name. I'm just iffy on that casting, but the movie itself, I'm expecting to make more over the weekend than what Snow White did in total. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah. Of course.
it's gonna be a gigantic hit, and I'm already hoping for a sequel because I love Stitch, I love the movie, and it's Disney. That
Mm.
comes out May 23rd. At four, a movie you have not listed yet, and a movie that I've not seen any of the franchise movies yet, but I'm going to do a little marathon called Final Destination Bloodlines.
Yeah, I saw it on the list. I've never seen it, or I don't know what it is.
So, a movie about curses, plagues, and people unaliving in unfortunate ways. Basically, I saw clips at CinemaCon. This one scene from Richard Harmon from The 100 on CW. Him and a friend, I'm not going to tell what the clip is about, but they basically look for something and then they accidentally hit something, and then the environment finds constant unfortunate ways to unalive them. It's like this throughout the whole movie. I gotta watch all the previous films, but it's very gory. And the fact that I'm someone who loves to watch gory things, and I love to watch people, yes, thank God it's fake, but I love to watch people in movies suffer in the most awful ways possible. It's just fun and entertaining, and that sounds scary for me as a person. But yes, this movie comes out also in May, but I think May 18th, around May 18th, but definitely in May. So that's a four. At three, I do have Karate Kid Legends. You have legends in this film: Jackie Chan, Ralph Macchio, and the CinemaCon Next Generation Award actor Ben Wang, also in this movie. Pretty much almost the same storyline. A new kid in school makes enemies, competition, this and that. I saw two clips at CinemaCon in this movie, Jackie Chan has not lost a step at all. He's definitely his same rush hour self, it looks like. Ben Wang, he looks so much better than Jane Smith in this movie. It's he moves fast. He reminds you of Tom Holland's Spider-Man. He's that flexible and that athletic for this role. It fits him perfectly. You have the same actress from Star Wars and Ming-Na Wen as the mother. And so the cast, obviously, I'm familiar with almost everyone in this movie. The setting, I believe, is New York. I love it already, I think. And it's karate. And with these two legends in this film teaching and helping him train, you know the choreography is going to be off the charts.
Yeah.
Easily. And this comes out, I believe, May 20 something. I might be wrong, but the point is everything comes out in May. Just know that. Karate Legends at 3. At 2, that's when I have Marvel's Thunderbolts.
Mm.
A movie that, thank God, is an original one. You have all the rejects, basically like the DC Suicide Squad, but from
Yeah.
Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
Led by Valentina, who looks very powerful, kind of, and now we know who bought Avengers Tower. Her. It looks empty inside, by the way. We get a new edition of Sentry, finally, played by Louis Pullman, who played Bob in Top Gun Maverick, for those who don't know. CinemaCon gave us a nice little clip that showed us a small glimpse of his powers, and let me tell you, I'm not gonna say he looks, because I've not seen the reveal, because he's been like shadowed in the trailers, but his power alone, just from the glimpse of it, I'm telling you right now, he looks to be, according to Valentina, he's all the Avengers rolled into one. I'm not sure how much more I can basically state my excitement off of that one statement alone. The addition of Sentry, seeing what he does in the trailers, knowing this movie is probably, not probably, but I've heard reviews as the greatest film since Endgame. That says a lot. Okay. After seeing Loki, after seeing No Way Home, after seeing even WandaVision. But that says a lot for this movie. And Florence Pugh and Louis Pullman Sentry are the standouts. It's emotional, I've heard. It's emotional. It's dark. And it's the action from beginning to end. It's incredible. And the fact that Florence Pugh jumped off the second tallest building in the world is insane. Insane. Okay. And she was just, and I saw the behind the scenes clip. She says, and I quote, "It's crazy how zen she was." So she wasn't feeling worried or nervous. She was looking forward to jumping off the second tallest building in the world, which to me is just, that tells you a lot about the money from Marvel gave her. But no, I mean, just seeing the cast, seeing all the rejects, the dynamic in this movie. I'm looking forward to seeing the humor, the action, and I'm surprised to hear that it was emotional. But that's probably gonna be between Red Guardian and Florence Pugh
That
specifically
that
because,
that might be a good thing, bro.
yeah,
A lot of the last movies have
mhm,
been lacking that aspect.
right,
They just
right, and Red Guardian is technically her father in the MCU,
yeah.
which is a pretty cool thing. But no, I mean, Thunderbolts. I'm looking forward to the most in not the most in May, but I'm looking forward to that Marvel film out of Fantastic Four. That's a different topic. But yeah, that's number 2. I have so much more to talk about, so much more, but that'll come later on in the month. That's number 2 that comes out May 2nd, right next week.
Yeah.
Number 1, I played my TikTok video that it's no surprise to anyone, that it's starring one of the biggest action stars in the world who risks his life for us, for enjoyment, for entertainment. Okay, it's no surprise that it's going to be the final part 2 of Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, the last film of the franchise, I think. And it just sucks how it's coming out 2 years before the Oscars adding Best Stunt Design as a new category, because Tom Cruise would sweep that, okay? Risking his life, literally, for our pure enjoyment. Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning it seems like literally all the films he's done has come to this as the dramatic quote in the trailer. The cast is coming back: Simon Pegg, Haley Atwell, Palm Clementif. Man, I'm just clearly speechless, and this is probably one of the movies I will definitely not see in 4D. So don't force me. But
Oh,
but
that's the perfect movie for
nah,
you.
I'm not seeing that in 4D. I'm gonna vomit. I'm gonna vomit probably.
Oh
Those seats.
man, imagine the airplanes. That's the perfect one.
Nah, I saw Thor: Love and Thunder in 4D, and I got a migraine the next day. I'm not seeing 4D movies ever again unless it's a very quiet drama film. That's
Stop.
it.
There
That's
was a
it.
point. There was a point. Well, I just go to IMAX or Dolby.
Exactly. Well, so no more 4D for me. But Mission Impossible that comes out, I'm sure May 18th. It's the point is obviously in May, but Tom Cruise came on stage at CinemaCon, gave us a nice speech tributing Val Kilmer, R.I.P. Gave us a nice extended trailer for this movie. He told us that obviously we know that his stunts were real. His he hates when people do stunts for him because we all know that he loves it when we know that the stunts he do were real. Okay, maybe some of them have like wires on him to be safe, but the fact that he's on a plane spinning around, literally hanging on for his life, no words can describe how crazy he is at this age specifically. Okay, so Mission Impossible is my number one, despite knowing what to expect. It's a franchise hit for me. So that's my 5-1 right there. Clearly different than yours, but we have our own opinions.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the weekend one because it's the weekend.
And since he was in him being at CinemaCon to perform for us live to promote his
Yeah.
movie was a dream fever for me. It wasn't a free concert because I paid to go to the whole event itself for the week,
Right.
but it was technically a free concert, which was the best part.
It was a surprise concert, so like
Yeah,
you know that this was gonna happen. I mean,
no,
you
but I knew it was gonna happen, but not that day. I knew the moment because as Jenna Ortega and the director they were talking, it was dark. It was dark behind them, but it was obvious that there was furniture moving around behind them. So I was looking behind them the whole time, like, what's happening? Okay, something's gonna happen. And then that's when the director said, "Enjoy a performance by the one and only The Weeknd." So just something like that. The lights came on bright, and when he warned us about epilepsy, shit like that, I knew it was gonna be some kind of loud brightness or music. So I knew it was gonna be a performance, and that's when The Weeknd came out and began with the song "Cry for Me," which I couldn't dance, but I really wanted to dance. That's my favorite song from The Weeknd ever. Not ever, but currently. But anyways, yes, that's my top movies for May. As you can tell, the fact that I added 3 honorable mentions for this list tells you how big May is this year for movies in general.
yeah, there's a lot of good movies coming out in the month of May.
Mm-hmm. All right, Abner. Last topic for the day. Marvel this year. Let me tell you, they have 2 movies coming out that I'm not sure what to have more excitement for between Thunderbolts literally next week or a new Fantastic Four starring, we already know, the first MCU family with Joseph Quinn, Kirby, Elon Musk Backrack, and Pedro Pascal. So you kick this off first. Which film do you think will make more money, and which film will be just the better overall?
Oh, those are
It's
those
a
are
big
two
question.
those are two questions that are tough.
So there
Uh,
you go.
okay. I think the one that's gonna make most money is Fantastic Four, just based off of the fact that it's based on a previous franchise that people are already aware of. Therefore, they're looking forward to seeing how the new version is, which is what has happened with a lot of like current big films. A lot of the times, it's old property. Like for example, Lilo and Stitch. Um, Snow White was an anomaly because of the whole situation with the actors. But yeah, I think the Fantastic Four is going to make more money, and also based on the fact that Pedro Pascal right now is one of the world's hottest actors. Like everybody's booking him. He's on commercials. Everybody's knowing him. Um, he's on SNL. Like he's basically worldwide right now. This is his year, his time,
Mm-hmm.
and the fact that he's coming out with a bank movie is probably gonna bring in a lot of money. So I think F4 makes a lot of money, but that also depends on the opening week that Thunderbolts has. If Thunderbolts has a really big opening week, more so on the word of mouth department, like where everybody's like, "Oh my god, this is a great movie! This is a great movie!" Everybody on social media is like, "This is a great movie." Then we could see a potential upset. Um, or if F4 sadly flunks, then we could see that potential upset. But in terms of what I think Fantastic Four is gonna come out with more money. Um, and what was the second question?
And which one do you think will be just a better overall, in your opinion?
Well, it's tough to base it because I haven't seen any trailers, only like a few parts of each. But I do think the visuals look better on Fantastic Four. I think they've created a more creative visual identity. Like you could tell that this is new and it looks cool. It's it it's creating there's a word for it. Um, it's an original visual identity where you could identify, oh my god, this is Fantastic Four, versus Thunderbolts doesn't really have a visual identity, and it's also gonna struggle because nobody knows what it is. Only Marvel fans know what it is.
Hmm.
Versus Fantastic Four, it will have the general population go in to see the movie because they know what it is. Um, I think this depends on the actors. Both of them have great casting. Um, but I am gonna go with Fantastic Four for that one as well. They could be both, but I am gonna go with Fantastic Four. To which one turns out being better. So
This is probably the only time I hope to agree with you, only because in the past we have received Fantastic Four movies, like the '07 or '09 version
yeah,
was my favorite one. The 15 could be just forgotten about easily. This one, not because of the movie itself, but I think this one could make slightly more than Thunderbolts because Thunderbolts has actors that we've seen already in the past in the MCU, so we know
mm,
what their abilities are, their story, and everything. But we don't know about the how we might have an idea about how the dynamic might go based on the trailers. Rejects, they're gonna be always arguing, always maybe they're fighting in the trailers and the clips. They're fighting here, they're always arguing here. They're trying to work together. They're basically literally like this is Suicide Squad, quite literally.
mm,
But just the fact that we know about the characters might not help a lot to enjoy it. Only to watch Sentry and the story. While Fantastic Four, we also know what kind of film sort of to expect, but in Fantastic Four, I think it might do a little bit better solely because of the casting in the movie. Like
yeah.
you said, Pedro Pascal, Mandalorian, Last of Us, Fantastic Four. You have Joseph Quinn from Stranger Things, and from Gladiator 2, both of them, Quinn and Pascal from
I
Gladiator
already
2.
yeah.
You have Vanessa Kirby from, I believe, the what you call the Mission Impossible franchise, and um, I forget what other movie she was in, but the one I think of right away was just Fast and the Furious, and I'm sure she was in more. I just can't think of right away. You have Ibn Musbarak from The Bear. You have Galactus. This time Galactus, who looks like to be an actual human figure finally, and not the Cloud from '09. I'm really looking forward to seeing what Galactus will be doing in this movie. And imagine you're in New York and you see a gigantic human staring at you who can shrink and grow even taller. That's kind of scary.
Mm.
The only thing iffy about is the Silver Surfer. I loved the male version. This one being the female version, Julie Garner from Ozark. She looks great in the movie, in the trailers. All silver, as expected. The surfboard's there, obviously. She works for Galactus, as we know. I am just nervous to seeing a different gender Silver Surfer because the male one did so well. It's hard for me to picture how this female one, Julie Garner, how well she will do. But in that trailer, her voice sounded pretty strong and vibrant and very clear. And I just hope that she fits in pretty well with this casting. But again, we don't know. Obviously, I don't know much about Fantastic Four, but the fact that this movie has had history in the past, that and this has more recognition to non MCU fans because this was in back in the '09 version. That one did really well. So just the fact that this name is more familiar than Thunderbolts, that's the only reason why I give it a higher chance to make more money. But I personally hope that Thunderbolts does a little bit better. But obviously, based on the post-credit scenes from both movies, I've unfortunately been spoiled. I'm not gonna tell you obviously. I've been spoiled unfortunately of only the first post credit scene, not the second one, of Thunderbolts. But I do think that one or both of the post credit scenes of Fantastic Four should or would lead to Doomsday, because Doomsday is the next Marvel film after Fantastic Four.
Right.
So don't be surprised if you could see a small teaser
Oh yeah, I would expect.
Doctor Doom,
Yeah.
or a first look at Doctor Doom, maybe just his feet or his voice only, like or how Thanos appeared in Ultron. Fine, I'll do it myself. How he teased for, you know, the future movies. So I won't be surprised if they do the same for Doctor Doom for Fantastic Four. And the fact that this movie takes place in the '60s does bother me a little bit because I dislike films, especially in Marvel, where the setting is in the past and not really modern, like Thunderbolts is. So I personally hope Thunderbolts does do better because it's more modern and I love the characters in this movie. And this one is more past Endgame. While this one, Fantasy Four, is set in the past, it does have interesting characters for the future of Marvel. But again, Thunderbolts is just more modern, and I just have a thing for more past than I have a thing for more present than past setting wise films, especially with Marvel. So
I think
and
it's key. I think it's key that Thunderbolts does good for Marvel, by the way,
mhm.
because it's setting a standard, like you said.
And same for Fantastic Four, because the 15th, 16th version did awful. So
Yeah,
I feel like this was also very important to do well too.
yeah. But when it comes to Thunderbolts one, is they're supposed to be the future of the MCU, correct?
Yeah.
If the future of the MCU doesn't do well enough on their own movie, then is the MCU really gonna choose that route? So
That's true.
I
Yeah.
think they're gonna take these two movies as a way of letting fans decide, like, okay, who do you guys actually want to be the future of the MCU? Because
hmm
if Thunderbolts just completely flops, do you really want to see another
Right.
Thunderbolts?
The thing that I don't like that Marvel did during the 8 hour live stream was that those chairs told us who's gonna be in Doomsday. So we know who lives and who doesn't live in Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four. We know who lives to move on to the future of the MCU. So the live stream technically did spoil who's not gonna
Right.
die. You know, that's the one thing that didn't like that Marvel did, but the fact that it's going to be about 50 or 60 cast members, which is insane, and they only announced 25, so they didn't really finish the full thing. The rest will be announced, I think I've heard, sometime in the summer. But this movie will feature mostly the original X-Men, Thunderbolts, Fantastic Four, and the Avengers. But most of the original ones were not announced yet,
I,
just the ones that we see now. So we know who doesn't die, who lives to move on. I just hope Marvel I just want Marvel to be careful when it comes to their own spoilers for future movies,
Yeah.
and I just hope after seeing all the previous movies from Marvel, I just hope that Thunderbolts, since we know the story for each character, we know how the we know what to expect with the dynamic. I just hope that it's still a great film, and I'm really curious to see how Sentry, the addition of that new character, will do in this movie. But I get the hype for Fantastic Four. I do. I just don't. I get that it's comic accurate. I don't like the Thing, his design. I prefer the '09 version still of the Thing. I loved seeing finally Pedro Pascal's stretch ability in the trailer, and I love seeing Vanessa Kirby announce that announcement. You know, I don't know if you've seen it because it's part of the
Well,
trailer.
I don't know that. So
What's up?
I haven't seen any of what you just said, so I
They're
don't know who
good,
the characters
good,
are. I don't know
good,
anything about the movie, bro.
good. So that means you're probably confused right now, which is good.
I okay, well, I mean, I understand. I know who the Fantastic Four are, and I know who the Thunderbolts are. I just don't like. I
Right. No, I
don't
got
watch
you.
trailers on purpose because it.
Yeah, to avoid spoilers. I got you.
Yeah,
I got you. And Joseph Quinn, that hairdo's gotta go. He needs that Chris Evans buzz cut hairdo. But
when it comes to the to what you mentioned about the cast being revealed, now that you mention it, I think a lot of the times, like in the recent years, Marvel has over relied on their star power to
mm-hmm,
carry their stories, or to
mm-hmm.
try to carry their stories. Like they're like, oh, look at who this new star. Like for example, Robert Downey Jr. coming back. Like it's like they're not gonna develop the
Yeah,
story.
I didn't like that, man. I mean, at
It's
the
like
moment,
they're not gonna develop. They're not gonna develop the story well enough. So then they're like, oh, you know what? We'll make it up to you by revealing that it's this big, huge character from our past.
mm-hmm.
Like, no, man, write a good story and people will be excited to watch those characters. It's not about who's on the movie.
That's right. I mean, at the moment they announced him coming back as the next big bad. Obviously, the whole room was hyped up, including me, because he's back.
Yeah.
I love the character, but the fact that he is back as the next big bad after how Endgame went, as days and months go by, I start to feel like, was this a mistake?
You're
Should
ruining
they,
Endgame. You're
should
ruining
they
the
have
definition of
that
Endgame.
too? I really wish they added another strong actor for Doctor Doom. Maybe I've heard a rumor of Killian Murphy. I've heard him as a rumor. I just wish they added another new big name actor for Doctor Doom, but we already know it's definitely gonna be just a variant of Tony Stark.
Mm.
But maybe this could be just a Doctor Doom variant from the actual real one. I don't know. I'm just afraid that
Well, I
this
hope so.
I'm just afraid that this version of Doctor Doom, played by we all know the variant of Tony Stark, I hope that doesn't ruin the character because he's the next supposed to be the next big bad. So I
Mm.
hope Tony Stark, RDJ, does not waste this kind of character because as the next big bad. I love Doctor Doom. I love his character in the '09 version, but the fact that they brought back a a character who had an amazing ending in Endgame. I thought he was done. The fact that they brought him back, like you said, did ruin Endgame. It just to me to them, I think it puts a lot more pressure on their shoulders and on Robert Downey Jr. to put up an even better performance as Doctor Doom because no one can replace Tony Stark as Iron Man. So this puts more pressure on him to exceed as Doctor Doom, in my opinion. Now,
Yeah. And it puts a lot of pressure on directors to make a
mm-hmm.
good movie. Because if that movie flunks, bro,
Which it
MC,
should not,
I mean,
because again, Marvel had millions of viewers watching an eight
yeah, yeah.
hour
I
live stream.
know.
Marvel is not gonna die anytime soon,
It's
no
not. It's
matter.
not. But like the product does get diluted to the point where it's like, what's next after that? If you
Mm-hmm.
think about it, like you can't bring him back again. Like you're just gonna keep using Robert Downey Jr. for the next 100 years. Like where's the development gonna
I
go?
don't know. I saw set pictures on Twitter, and concept art that was released on Twitter. This film looks like it's to take place in medieval times. Like what the fuck?
That's what you get when you get all the variants and multiverses, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have a good story. You're just going all
But
over.
but if it's true what I've heard that Doctor Doom will collect all the evil variants of the original X-Men characters,
Hmm.
that will definitely generate more interest from me because I would love to see Captain Hydra.
I heard a theory. I heard a theory that at some point, probably in that movie, which might be also to what you were saying,
Mm-hmm.
somehow, some way, they're gonna find a way to close the multiverse, right? To
Mm-hmm.
just make it one timeline, because they've realized that even Deadpool has hinted at it, um, that they're gonna close it to become one time,
Right, right.
and then they're gonna restart the timeline.
I've heard about that. Yeah, and remember also last little note in Deadpool 3, Marvel's got to bring back that little clip of Thor crying, holding Deadpool in his arms.
Yeah,
They
you're
gotta
right.
bring that back for something. They can't just
That's
show that and just not tell us or not move forward with that because
exactly.
that went viral on Twitter. So there's no way Marvel would not bring that moment back in theaters for an actual real scene, you know.
Yeah.
So I've no doubt because of that, Deadpool will definitely be most likely in Secret Wars,
Hmm.
and I just know Secret Wars will be an even bigger dream fever than Endgame was because you have more heroes than Endgame had. You're bringing back freaking Fox characters in the MCU for God's sake for this. This movie's gonna make billions in the first week. Has to. But
Um, I just want to see Spider-Man go up against Deadpool, bro.
or team up.
I've been
Yeah.
wanting that or team. I've been wanting that for so many years, bro.
Deadpool also mentioned that too. Well, Ryan Reynolds mentioned that too. And Tom Holland mentioned that he wants to work with Florence Pugh. So Secret
Nah,
Wars,
that'd
maybe.
be cool. Yeah, that'd be cool.
All right, Abner. So give me your final thoughts. What do you think will make more money, and which do you think will be better?
Fantastic
Before we...
Four. Fantastic Four. I really hope Thunderbolts does good. I, I, I really, really do. I'm actually really excited for Thunderbolts because it's a creative, original one. And I really, really hope that it does good. Based on previous Marvel films lately, it's a little rocky, but hopefully it becomes a really good movie, and I'm excited for it. But I think Fantastic Four for both for me. So
I have to say that I slightly agree. I do think Fantastic Four actually. Now I think of it, Fantastic Four is a film that again it has been in the past twice, so we kind of already know what to expect from a film like this. You know, family wise, villain wise. Thunderbolts, we know the characters, we know how they interact, we know the story and everything, but I don't really know the story of the movie itself, and I don't really know what Sentry can do or what his story is. So I'm only saying Thunderbolts might make slightly actually yeah, I'm choosing my whole words right now.
remember,
I do think
you got to think about who makes the money. It's not the
mhm.
Marvel audiences that end up making the money.
No, you're right, you're right, you're
You
right. No, you're
know,
right. You're right. But the fact that Fantasy Four has lived and has been in the past, we know kind of what to expect from that kind of a movie franchise. Thunderbolts, we know the characters already. We know the story and everything. We don't know the story of the movie, like I said.
oh,
And
yeah.
I personally don't know what Century is about. So
I don't know
I
anything.
kind of exactly. So I have no idea what specific movie this could lead to. Maybe Fantasy Four, maybe Doomsday, or Secret War. Not too far, but the fact that it's like you said, an original film. There's no prequel, no sequel, nothing yet.
Nothing.
I do kind of, and we love the characters especially. So I do hope, not think, I hope Thunderbolts does make slightly more money than Fantastic Four, but I do think, in my opinion, that Fantastic Four will be a better movie for the audience because we don't really know much about that like we do with the characters in Thunderbolts, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Fantastic Four, I think, will make more money because we know the history with this franchise. but I think Thunderbolts will be a better movie for the fans, not money wise, but for the fans. I'm not sure if I just twisted my words, but for the audience listening, I'm to sum it all up. I think Fast and Four will make more money, but I think Thunderbolts will be a better movie for the fans, basically. So that's where my head is at, and that's a perfect way to, you know, end this pod right before it comes out on May 2nd, Thunderbolts. So Abner, any final thoughts on this whole episode in general before we end it off? On Sinners, top films for May, or Thunderbolts Fast and Four?
No, man. I'm looking forward to all those movies. I'm really looking forward to Lilo and Stitch. Now that I think about it, but it's gonna be a good month. Um, and I'm looking forward also to the Christmas season because I know
Mm.
a lot of Avatar. The Avatar movies
Mhm.
come out, and that's one of my favorite franchises.
Different topic. Yeah.
But yeah, it's gonna be it's promising to be a good run this year for
Hmm.
big movies. So
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, like we said, Sinners, one of the greatest horror original films I've seen in my entire life. And again, I've seen just Alien before. That's pretty much it. So it's obviously don't take my word for it, obviously,
You're
but
going off the movie.
right. Don't take
Yeah,
my word for it, but obviously, as someone who hates horror films, the fact that I've seen it and loved it tells you everything right
that's a
there.
good review right there.
There
If
you
you're
go.
a fan of horror films, this one is good for you. Yeah,
There you go. But like no, but like you said too, May is one of the greatest months of the year for film because you have films coming on streaming that I'm looking forward to watching, not just in theaters, which is great. Keeps me entertained throughout the month before June and then July because it's going to be a great summer as a whole for movies. And again, Thunderbolts, especially for, I do hope Thunderbolts will generate more fan hype. But I do think especially four, mostly because we know what the franchise is about. We know what the whole movie is about. Well, franchise. I do think that will generate more money, but I think Thunderbolts will generate more hype,
yeah.
basically. All right, guys, this has been episode 11. Three simple topics. Stay tuned for episode 12 sometime next week or whenever anyone can join me. But this has been episode 11. I'm your host, Jeremy Kaziva, aka Entertain Today. Our names are not up here, they disappeared. I'm Jeremy. This is Abner. Abner, thanks for joining, and stay tuned, guys, for next episode, for next topics. That will definitely be hopefully sooner rather than later. But have a good night, guys.
Yes, sir. Have a good one.